Distinction students, English with a perfect tutor. So in this video, we are going to look at a very interesting topic, which is question tags. It's very simple, though it tends to give problems to some students. So pay attention. What is a question tag? But before we define what a question tag is, we would like to know what a tag is. What is a tag, students? A tag can be defined as a word or a phrase that is added to a sentence for emphasis. We can also say a tag is a short addition to a sentence that shows agreement, disagreement, or confirmation. So you have the main statement with you, or the main sentence. Then at the end of that sentence, you add an addition, or let me say a word or a phrase to show emphasis, agreement, disagreement, or confirmation. You use question tags in your everyday lives, but you don't just know that, you do that. Let me show you. This proves that question tags are as well used in conversations. For example, our teacher is good. You are telling your friend, our teacher is good, isn't he? Our teacher is good, isn't he? You see? You want to show emphasis here, or you want to prove agreement. You want the person to respond. So your friend will respond, yes, he is. Of course, I know he is good. You see? So here you've used a question tag. Isn't he? Isn't he? Another example. John is tall. You are telling your friend, John is tall. Isn't he? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So you use question tags in your everyday lives. These were just examples. Now, let us look at the rules governing question tags. How do you put the isn't he, isn't she? How do you put them? How do you put them? So, firstly, we'll look at the positive and negative statements. A positive statement has a negative tag. It's opposite. A positive statement has a negative tag, which has a positive reply. So don't consider much on the reply, just consider on this one. The statement and the tag. A positive statement has a negative tag. For example, John is a pastor. Let me explain this to you. Positive. What does it mean when they say a sentence is positive, a sentence is negative? You need to see the word not in a negative statement. Are we together? The word not shows negativity of a statement. So if you see the word not, you need to know that this statement is negative. If there is no word not, then that sentence is positive. But there are some exceptions to this, as some words like hardly, scarcely, and others like seldom, they are negative on their own. But for statements like this, you need to see the word not. That shows negativity. But in this case, John is a pastor. We do not have the word not, meaning this statement is positive. So how do we form a question tag? You get the auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb is here is our auxiliary verb. So is. Now, since it's a positive statement, we are going to put not. So it's a two-way thing. If you don't have the word not in your statement, then in your question tag you are going to have it. If you have the word not in your statement, then you shouldn't have it in your question tag. So in this case, we do not have it in our statement, hence we are going to have it in our question tag. So it is going to be isn't. Now we assume to say John is a boy, so we use he. Isn't he? We put the pronoun. So the formula is the auxiliary verb plus the not, or you don't put the not in a positive question tag, then you put the pronoun. So this will attract a positive reply. Yes, he is. A negative statement has a positive tag. So it's opposite, as I said. A negative statement has a positive tag. You need to see the word not in this statement called to be negative. For example, this storybook isn't yours. This storybook isn't yours. Remember, that's just the contracted form of word there. We've put is not yours. Now we've just contracted it to say this storybook isn't yours. So our question tag will be, we'll get the auxiliary verb, which is. Now we'll get the pronoun for the storybook. So the storybook is not a person, it's not a girl, it's not a boy, it's it. The pronoun for a book or for anything is it. We use it. So get the auxiliary verb is and put it there. Is it? Is it? We're not going to put not. We're not going to say isn't it, because we already have the word not in our statement, meaning our statement was negative. Our question tag should be positive. It shouldn't have the word not in it, and this will attract a negative reply, which will say no, it isn't. It isn't. I hope we're moving together here. For imperative, I mean, there are some sentences that do not have the auxiliary verbs. The auxiliary verb. Now, I'll show you. For this kind of statements, you use the positive future tag and make request. Positive future tag and make request. For example, open the gate. Have you seen an auxiliary verb here? The is, the are, and the other thing. There is no auxiliary verb. So in this case, the rule says use positive future tag and make a request. Positive future tag, meaning future tag, you put the word will, then you make a request. So open the gate, will you? So for this, there is nothing like negative, positive, the word not or not. Just put will and make a request. That's what we mean by future tag. Further examples. Let's leave now. Let's leave now. Shall we? Shall we? So there are some instances where you are supposed to use shall, and some instances where you're required to use will. In this case, you are part of the subject. Let's leave, meaning you are among the group. You are there. That's what we're going to say. Shall we? Shall we? Shall is also future, remember. The tag after negative imperative, add will you. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Wherever you don't just see the auxiliary verb, either is, are, were, was, those auxiliary verbs. Just put will you or shall. Something. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't have an auxiliary verb here. Then we're going to say, no, we put the auxiliary verb, we put the pronoun, we consider if there is the word not known. Here, don't do that. Don't do that. Can you say, don't? Do you? No, that's very wrong. So what we do here, just put will you? Will you? Don't do that. Will you? That's how we put question tags. These are the rules. You need to study them. So here are some questions for you to try out to see if you've understood the concept of question tags. Number 1, James is the head boy of this school. We are required to add a question tag here. James is the head boy of this school. The second question, Grace did not sit for the test. Hazel did not either. How do you add a question tag here? So you're going to write the whole sentence and add a question tag. Third question, we are not allowed to come with cellular phones to school. Add a question tag as well. The fourth question, he is not the brightest of the 3 boys in the family. You are also required to add a question tag there. We have number 5. Mutinta and Mwape must not wear makeup at school. Mutinta and Mwape must not wear makeup at school. We are also required to add a question tag there. So you try out first, try to answer these questions, pause the video, then you check the answers at the end. So these are the expected answers. James is the head boy of this school. Since this statement is positive, we can't see the word not here. Hence, our question tag will have the word not, and it is going to be isn't he? Isn't he? Secondly, neither Grace nor Hazel sat for the test. This one is very interesting. You know, we have two people here. Neither Grace nor Hazel sat for the test. Now, how do we put a question tag? How do we put a question tag? Remember, let's assume to say Grace is a girl and Hazel is a boy. Who do we consider here? Do we say did he? If we say did he, then someone will say, no, what are we considering Grace here? Or we say did she, then we are not considering Hazel. Now, how do we put a question tag here? There are two answers here. There are two possible answers to this question. It's either you can say neither Grace nor Hazel sat for the test. Did he? Or neither Grace nor Hazel sat for the test. Did she? It's either you put did she or you put did he. It's the same thing. You can put whichever. It's just the pronoun. So there we only consider one. We can't put did they? No, because neither is singular. Can't put did they? No, we don't put like that. Question 3. We are not allowed to come with cellular phones to school. So here we have the auxiliary verb are and the word not. Since there is a word not in our statement, we are not going to have it in our question tag. Hence, our question tag will be positive. Are we? We are not allowed. Are we? So all this sentence you are seeing here, if you've been just observant here, you can notice to say the other words have got no use. What we only use here is the auxiliary verb, the pronoun, and you look for the word not. We are not. Here we are just going to say are we? He's not the brightest of the three boys in the family. He is not. He is not. Just the first part. He is not. You're going to say, is he? Of course he's not. Mutinta and Mwape must not wear makeup at school. Must not. Must not. Must they? Must they? Here we are using they. We are not going to say must she, like in the other case. Neither and either, they are singular. They are singular. You get to understand this when we do subject-verb agreement. Those, they show singular subjects. So for this one, and, for and, it's a composite word. This one is a composite word. So it's showing the connection between Mutinta and Mwape. They are two people together. So Mutinta and Mwape must not wear makeup at school. Must they? These are the expected answers. If you haven't been able to understand, kindly replay the video so that you can get the concept about question tags. Otherwise, it's just a simple thing. Thank you for watching. See you next time.